Hello. Hi, everyone.
Hi June, how are you?
Good and Ed.
Hi Nan, how are you?
I'm good, Brad. How can you hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
very well.
Oh, yes, I'm doing good. How are you doing?
Good.
yeah, good.
I forwarded the invite to a couple of my our colleagues here, so they'll be
Oh,
also
great.
joining. They're not much
Nice.
familiar with the Vector Director, but I just wanted to use this opportunity of your demo to get familiarized for them, like with the software, like how it looks and how they can use in the future, like in coming months.
Yep.
Excellent.
Yep.
Might just let some people slowly join.
Coming in from Stolen, Volker sent me the invite, so I didn't get to see the other demos, but our team is interested.
Great. Today, there's probably only time to really show the updates, but if you want, we can organize a separate session to go through Vector Director on its own.
Yeah, if you've got some video, our team would love to catch up with some video and watching the other two demos. But yeah, I'm here. I was going to try to record and share the demo video with our team, and then we can dive deep
This,
into it if we have an application.
yeah, this will get recorded, and then on our website in the news section, we'll load it up there.
Okay.
It's being recorded now, I think. Yeah. Right. Well, it did look like there was about 17 people registered, so we might give them a few more minutes. I'll just start sharing. This is actually our first time doing a webinar, so now that we've got it all sorted out, hopefully we'll do more regular ones. So just keep an eye out on the website and check the news section.
You have a link for that you can put in the chat.
Yeah.
And are the other demo videos 1 and 2 in there? Because I see this one's labeled number 3.
I'm not sure what 1 and 2 was. Could you share a bit more about this? Is the first webinar we've ever done.
Okay, it says Vector Director version 3 demo. That's what was
Oh,
forwarded to me. So I was thinking there was a version 1 and 2, but maybe that's just a version of the software.
yeah, it's the version of the software. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
But we might give it till what will be 5 past on our time, which is in 2 minutes. Brad, I might ask you to just keep an eye out on the Q&A section.
Yeah, we'll do.
But any of you guys, if you got a question, feel free to just jump in at any time. At the end, there'll be plenty of time to ask questions at the end when we can talk about more future developments and things like that as well. So give it one more minute. All right, we might make a start. Okay, so thank you all for joining. We do know Vector Director version 3 did take a little while, but we got there in the end. We had a few competing priorities, so it was a bit difficult to jump back and forth between the projects, but we've got a nice stable version coming out, and there's some really cool things in version 3 that we'd like to share with you. But firstly, to all our maintenance customers, thank you very much for your continued support for KXG. It's you guys that keep us going every day to make this product better and better. So in version 3, if you guys haven't got it installed, I've noticed there hasn't been a great uptake of downloads for version 3. I know like locally there are IT issues and all that kind of stuff, but yeah, whenever you guys are ready, just install it and send through the system identifier. On the website now, the download link will be the version 3. That's been like that for about a month now. So just go to the download a trial section of the website, install that, send us your system identifier. You will have to remove version 2 first. And all the construction zones and stuff you made on version 2 will load and work perfectly fine in version 3. So let's start with, on the file section, you'll notice there's a few extra tabs on the left side here. We've added something called the plugin store. There's also a qualification store and a compiler store. So compiler is our new Python plugin. If there is a pre-processing method or an analysis method that Vector Director doesn't support, and you really want to use it, you can bring in your Python code. I'm not a Python developer, but there's a set structure that code has to sit in to work with our software, because you got to kind of link up the outputs from your method to our plotting design. But once you've got that in, we'll do a demo of it. Once you've got that in, you can bring in your own, custom pre-processing or analysis methods. So that's really cool. With the plugin store now, we've got a lot of instrument drivers. That list is getting bigger and bigger every day. We've got at least 3 or 4 more due to be added to this soon. But this just fits in with our mantra that we should have a single solution from data collection all the way through to process control, which is our platform. So we're constantly adding to this list. If you have a specific PAT or some sort of sensor that you'd like to integrate, just contact us anytime. But you'll notice there are these little lock signs. So when they're locked, we allow you to trial them for 2 weeks for free. So you just have to drag them across, highlight it, and click activate. Okay, that can't be activated because I've already done the 2-week trial on this one. So that's good to see that's working. And hopefully this one, okay, I've already done that one too. I wanted to show the VR because we've got a VR in the office, but they will sit down here on your data tab. So you just drag these in here. If you've got one of those instruments connected, you would find it in here. and hit connect. And then these drivers allow you to control your hardware straight from within Vector Director. They work for ProAccess as well if you've got ProAccess, and that way you can collect your data within our software, bring the data straight in, do the modeling. It's all under our .vpb file structure. You don't have to do any conversions. You don't have to have multiple software open. And so that's the plugin store there. Secondly, we've got our qualification store. So if you do have some sort of qualification associated with those hardware, and we're able to connect to it, I can't connect to these at the moment, but it'll tell you what the status is of the current OQ or PQ of those instruments and whether it needs to be qualified before you use it. And the Python store allows you to share Python assets. So if I've made some Python analysis plugin and I want to share it to a colleague, then you can export them as a specific like Python file. It's not a Python file, but it's like a Vector Director Python file. And you can share that with colleagues. They can import it so that they can use it locally as well. So associated with this also, Vector Vault is our sort of like overarching audit trail, version control, data saving solution. And we've integrated Vector Vault now. So in the settings section, there'll be a few changes here. If you go to the application settings, you'll notice now that there's this section on how to configure Vector Vault. If you purchase Vector Vault, it works seamlessly with Vector Director and ProAccess. And so you'll see that there are these extra options. You can check this box to turn it on or turn it off. It's on at the moment, so I've got the Vector Vault settings here. And we might do another section on another demo on Vector Vault. I was doing some testing last night with VBox, our server client solution in Vector Vault. And sometimes when you got all these different things installed and testing, it's a bit hard to keep track of things. And I tried to log into Vault this morning and I couldn't get it working. I think it's because Vault's installed on the Office network and I can't get it connected at the moment. But we'll do another a webinar on Vector Vault. But so this section is how you would connect to Vault. You just find the address of where Vault is, test the connection, and I don't think, oh, it is connected. Maybe this will work. Let's give this a go. Okay, I did try this 2 seconds ago and it wasn't working. It's not letting me log in though. So, oh, I am logged in. Okay, so I should be able to show you some stuff from Vector Vault. Okay, so that's logged in there. And then that's pretty much it for the updates on the left-hand side. If you go to the About section, we've got all the change history for version 3 in this section here. All right, so let's bring in some data. You'll notice on the right as well, there are a few extra things there. Let me just find my data. Yes, files. Go to our favorite raw material spectra. We really need to find more data, Brad. All right, let's bring these in. I think that should be fine. So you might have noticed there's now a Vector Vault import over here. So you'll be able to import assets from Vector Vault. Okay, so wonder if there's anything in there. Let's try from January till today. All right, so we do have a few assets in there. And then we've got these little icons to tell you the approval status at the moment. So in this way, you can bring in assets from Vector Vault. So if you're on a network, and you've got a whole bunch of people using Vector Director. They're sending all these assets like data, pre-processing templates or models. If they're sending them to Vault and you're connected to Vault, you'll be able to access them as well, and you can share assets that way. Okay, so that's just downloaded from Vector Vault. And if I just open this up, you'll see that we've got these little icons to show you the status of the approval. So it's just being sent to Vault at the moment. Also, another thing we've done now with our proprietary data, when you bring it in, it comes in as read-only. So the initial data set cannot be modified. You can't, I'm just pressing the keyboard here, nothing's happening. So you have to clone your data first. And then if you clone it, that read-only will disappear. And now you can change that. So that way the integrity of your original data stays intact. Also, before, when you merge data, it used to just chuck it onto the bottom or the right of the data set that you drop it on. But now we've given you the option. It should be an option. Thought it was an option, but you get a new data table now, and that data table will have that will maintain the read-only. So if you drop a read-only on a read-only, you'll get a read-only, and if you don't have a read-only, then you'll get rid of that read-only. So also in our data table before, if you had a bunch of these ticked, bunch of these ranges ticked, and you just deleted one of those, most people didn't know that every single ticked item got deleted at the same time. And so that tricked up a lot of people. They were like, whoa, hang on a sec, I just deleted the timestamp, but everything got deleted. So we've changed that. So just the one that you highlight will get deleted. What else is there in the data section? I've just got a list here. Well, import classrooms. Okay. All right, I might do that a bit later. So that's pretty much it for the data section. If we go to pre-processing now, there is one added extra sort of update to the method in the averaging. And I'm going to need a Y variable for this and a class variable. So just bear with me 1 minute. If you've got a Y variable or a class variable, we've added this external variable here. So you can average your data based on the class variable or a Y variable and adjust the value here. You can do it based on the Y, or you can do it based on your classes so that you get an average spectrum for each class in that data set. I might do the compiler demo here for a pre-processing method. I've got one here made already. I'll just delete that. And then compiler, if you've got it activated, it should show on the bottom, on the right here. Just drag that in, it'll open a new window. And the method for analysis methods and pre-processing methods are pretty much the same. So you have to find your Python file first. Okay, let's I put it on the desktop. Where's my desktop? Bear with me 1 minute. I always forget where the desktop is.
And the users.
Is it under? Yeah, should be this one. Oh, I knew this would happen. Let me just put it back to where it was, and then it should be easier. Okay. Now just open this again. OneDrive. So we've got our Python files here. If we select your script, it'll import here. And if you haven't got your packages installed, Vector Director will notice that they're not there and tell you to install them first. So once that's done, you can then go to defining your inputs and outputs. You can check everything. This is all designed in your Python script file. So depending on that, different things will populate in here. And then you can also live test your method. So if you've got some data, you can make sure that everything's working here. And just check that. And with your compiler methods as well, you can validate them through this as well. So if you hit compile, you'll notice now that we've got a Python plugin here. And the beauty of this is that it just slides in seamlessly with our other user interface. So it just looks like any other pre-processing method. You just use it the same way. It looks the same, it feels the same. And that's the same kind of thing for our analysis methods. When you make a compiler method with analyze, same, it's just down here again. It'll just slide in. There's an option for where you want to place it, if under exploratory method, under a regression method, and it will just sit in there. And so once you've made it, they just work exactly the same like all of our other methods. So that's compiler. Right, now next one I need to show a few updates in not PCA alone, but there are a few things that I can show in the PCA method. The first thing is everyone asks for, what's the best component or factor to use? So we've gone through a whole bunch of data, and there are sort of very repeating structures in your variance plot. And so we've set a few rules on how to determine what's the best principal component. Now, these are just what we call suggested PCs or factors. So that'll come out as a little star. That is different to the one that you set. So it doesn't mean you have to use that one. So the set ones will come as little squares. And so these are the ones that will be used for that model if you use it in projection or prediction. So these are the suggested PCs or factors. We've also got in the scores plot, there was never a method to map your class variables back to the original data source. So we've now created that. And another new feature, like if you're highlighting things with a polygon and you want to start again, we've added this thing where you can just highlight an empty place and it will just clear it. So instead of having to clear like this, you can just, oops, I made a mistake, and start again like that. So if we make a class here, let's call this a new class, and maybe the right-hand side. This one. Oops, we need to get rid of that one. Left. Then if we come back to okay, so we've got our new class here now. So if you've done like an exploratory analysis with your PCA, and then based on that, you wanted to, you know, make some classes, or you wanted to make some groupings that you want to perhaps average based on the class variable, or do new analyses based on those groupings, you can do that a lot more easier now. Another thing off the scores plot is we've updated the contribution. So the contribution plot comes in as a new layout. So you might not know, but you can add layouts to your view here. And if you bring in that contribution plot, it will add as a new contribution view layer. And the reason we did that was because in here you typically make groupings, and we wanted that to be separate to if you have got any groupings here in your regular scores view. So it comes out as a separate layout, and then based on your groupings, you'll get 3 separate plots. In this one, you'll get the average versus the mean. You've got your mean, and then you've got the average of the mean of the selected data. You've got the contribution for this data, and then you've got the difference plot. So that at the moment, this is just the difference between your selection and the mean. If you add more groupings, then these will update. And what we've done with the difference plot is when you go above more than 2 groupings, the first 2 will group as a single group, and then it'll be versus the third group. If you have 4 groups, the first 3 groups will be merged as a single group, and it'll be comparing to the 4th group. You can also add, say 5, I believe if you hit shift or control. Yeah, if you hit control, you can add to your original group. And you can also do just single items, single objects as well. So yeah, that's pretty cool, pretty powerful analysis to look at what kind of variables are affecting your data there. And if we come back here, again with the scores, so previously, excuse me, previously when you make a sample grouping, you had this option here where you could create a training and a test set. And you could save that back to the original data. So what we've done now is we've implemented a form of automatic sample selection. You choose the number of components or factors to use, and then how many objects you want it to select. And that will go through and automatically select a random subset of your data for you. Okay. Let me just check if there's anything else here. Okay, and now what we've done, every single plot has got this option here called numeric. If you scroll down, you'll see this numeric. And also if you right click, you'll have the numeric there. And that will just convert your data to a table so that you can export that to CSV. So you don't have to go to data on demand anymore. I mean, that does still work, you can still bring models in here, get your data this way, and export it that way. But it's just a lot faster now to just give it a click, single click, and you can. So that's a great new function. Every single plot in Vector Director. I think that might be it, actually. Can you think of anything else, Brad? I think I've covered everything.
No, I think that's it. It's really just a Vector Director 3.0 was to support the Vault platform.
There's two more things. One very large one, actually. So we've added moving block methods. So for those of you who don't know moving block methods, you know, you might have an evolving process where the variability in your data might change, not across the board, but in a very localized event. And if you look at the variability across the whole range, then you might lose that information. So moving block methods allow you to make subsets of your data and have localized analysis of that. So if you've got noise, you know, coming in and coming out at a specific time point, that'll show up more in moving block methods. It's used a lot in things like evolving operations, like if you're drying something or mixing something and you want to see when that comes to an end. So we've got the moving block methods. And one other thing I forgot out the front, because we've added Vector Vault and we've also added compiler, the audit trail has changed slightly. So the original audit comes under audit here, and then we've got a new application audit. So anything to do with Vector Vault or compiler will get logged here. And what we've done now to the report, I've got to put this somewhere I can find it. Let's go to KHG. Let me just find that. Okay, so you'll have that original template at the top. We've got the application audit coming at the top here. So you've got all of those results first, and then you've got your regular audit trail report underneath. All right. So yeah, those are the updates. Are there any questions at this moment?
I have one question.
Yep.
For the Python script, is there a specific format you expect the code expected to be written in, like a function or classes?
Yeah, there is a format. There is information that Rajan is made that explains how to do it. I'm not familiar with coding, but it sets out the way it's got to be structured. So you have to put it in a certain way. So that Python file that I imported, she's structured that to work with us, but we can provide more information on that.
Okay, thank you. And can we use those, like if you have any like a pre-processing or analysis made on the compiler, can I use this in the Pro Access now, or it's still
That's coming with version
okay.
3.0.
Okay.
Yeah, we're working on Pro Access next. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts here, but Pro Access was the next main one to go out. We've got our roadmap of what's going to change. And that's one of the big changes there. Yeah, so that will really open up the flexibility of Pro Access once that's implemented.
Thank you.
Are there any, I'm curious, like for those who use Vector Director, are there any features that you would like to see or any things that you might want to change? We're always curious to hear if there's any things that the user base would like to see. That's a good sign.
In the pre-processing,
Yep.
Like this is something I usually apply. Like for example, I'm using a Raman data, and when I'm doing a baseline correction, I try to apply the baseline correction on the full range of the spectra or subset of the spectra. Then while training, I'll use only the features of important, like for importance to train the model. Like, is that can be something can be done now? Like do the pre-processing on the entire range or subset of the range, and then select only a feature of that to train the model.
The simple answer is yes, but you have to do it in the analysis stage.
In the analysis stage, okay. And how does that get transferred when we are moving from Vector Direct to Pro Access?
Well, June, do you mind if I share my screen for a moment?
Yeah, to be a two-step, you'd have to do the pre-processing on the full range and then do a recalculation,
Yeah.
a regeneration on the specific range of interest.
Okay, makes sense.
Let's take my favorite Octane data set. Okay, so let's just go straight to pre-processing. Okay, so for instance, Anand, if you wanted to do baseline, okay, this is just doing a straight linear offset baseline and nothing much really happening in that data. We'll just put a straight line, see if it corrects. There we go. So let's just say we save that template there, okay? Date. There we go. Save the template. All right. So in analysis, take our baseline pre-processing here, make the model. Okay, and just say this is the region of the spectra that you want to focus on. You can then highlight the points, do a regenerate with those variables. And now you've got the model just for that region there, nice separation. And now when you save that for Pro Access, it's just going to zero out everything that's not important. Now you focus on the regions that you actually want. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. This is good.
Because you know, like you can also do it over multiple. Just say you wanted those two
sections.
Yeah, and you say width, and we understand that there's a 0 point. If you eliminate variables, now there is an option, of course, to have a look at the height excludes, but you can see with the zeros or without the zeros. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, this makes sense. Thank you.
Are there any other questions? Okay, well, we might bring it to a close there. Thank you guys for your time. If you do have questions, you can always just contact us through our website or just email us at support@caxgroup.com. There's a web form, you can contact us. You've got our emails. And yeah, thank you for your time, and hope to see you all again soon. I just saw.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thanks for the presentation.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.